The role of a second wife. It's one of the most complex and stereotyped roles in our culture. It's a position that's so often misunderstood, just wrapped up in judgment and social stigma. But behind that label, there are real stories, real challenges, and these huge emotional journeys that really deserve a closer look. So let's dive right in. This quote from Psychology Today just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? Nobody really dreams of this. It's not the fairy tale ending you imagine as a kid. It's a path that life presents, often unexpectedly. And today, we're going to explore the very real, very complicated reality behind that journey. And to help us really get a handle on this, we're going to follow the personal story of a woman named Helen. For a whole decade, she lived the life of a second wife. Her experience gives us this incredibly powerful first-hand look into the complexities we're about to unpack. So, to truly understand what this is all about, we have to look beyond the stereotype. What are the circumstances that lead a woman down this path? What's the human story behind the label? Well, in Helen's own words, the relationship started with this appeal of maturity and understanding. He just seemed like the answer. He was caring, attentive, a total contrast to her past. But as Helen admits, it's easy to get so comfortable feeling understood that you forget a critical step to, dig deeper and do a real background check on the story you're being told. And this was the promise that sealed it. It wasn't presented as some messy affair or being an addition to his life. No, it was framed as a brand new beginning. The past was over, he said, she was the future. And that is such a compelling story to be told. It offers a clean slate, a fresh start, and the central role in his life. But here's the thing, the past is never really gone, is it? And while Helen's story is uniquely hers, the challenges she faced are incredibly common. This is where her personal journey crosses paths with the universal pressures that just seem to come with the territory. I mean, the statistics alone are pretty daunting. According to Marriage.com, we all know about 50% of first marriages end in divorce, right? Well, that number jumps to 60% for second marriages. The odds are just stacked against you from the get-go. Partly because for one partner, divorce isn't some unknown fear anymore, it's a known option. So what are these hurdles we're talking about? Well, it starts with that social stigma, that nagging feeling of maybe being seen as a consolation prize. Then you've got the emotional baggage from the first marriage, which always finds a way to seep into the new one. Add to that the huge difficulty of being a step-parent, the financial mess of past commitments, and of course, having to navigate this really complex web of in-laws and the ex-spouse. All of these pressures can build up into something that experts actually call second wife syndrome. It's a term for this specific cocktail of emotions, feeling like you just don't measure up, always comparing yourself to the past, and this deep, nagging sense that you don't really truly belong. And wow, this quote from Helen, it just perfectly illustrates the real-world feeling behind that clinical term. Her words are so powerful. Despite everything looking normal on the outside, inside she felt this emptiness, this insecurity so deep it felt like she was stealing her own husband. And look, these feelings aren't just anecdotal. They're not just in your head. There's a lot of significant scientific research out there that documents the very real psychological toll of being in a relationship like this. Let's take a look at the data. Now, while it's not a perfect one-to-one comparison, research into related marital structures gives us some really stark insight. For example, a 2021 study found that women in polygamous marriages who also have to share a husband's history and his attention have a 2.25 times higher chance of experiencing depression. That's not just slightly elevated, we're talking more than double the risk. And the impact is even broader than that. That same research showed significantly higher scores across a whole range of symptoms for women in those marriages. We're talking about somatization, which is when emotional distress literally shows up as physical pain, plus way higher levels of anxiety, hostility, and paranoia. So while the context is a bit different, this data really helps validate that profound psychological distress that Helen was describing. So, okay, when you're faced with these immense challenges and this heavy psychological weight, how do you find a way out or a way through? For Helen, it all came down to a single, powerful moment of clarity. After 10 years, this inner voice just cut through all the noise. It was a simple, undeniable realization that the life she was living was fundamentally not right. It was an internal truth that once she heard it, she just couldn't ignore anymore. That was her turning point. And she acted on that voice. Helen made the incredibly difficult decision to leave the relationship, but she did more than that. She actually reached out to the first wife to apologize.
Today, the original couple has reconciled, which brings a kind of closure and healing to a whole decade-long saga. Now, Helen's path was to leave, but for those who are committed to making it work, the key is proactive effort, not just passive hope. This means making open communication completely non-negotiable. It means you have to consciously build your own new memories instead of living in the shadow of old ones. It absolutely requires setting firm boundaries to protect your own well-being. And above all, it means prioritizing self-care and just accepting that blending two lives is a marathon, not a sprint.
So, after this journey through statistics, syndromes, and these deeply personal stories, what's the lasting message here? Well, it's that while the challenges are universal, the ending is definitely not predetermined. And on that note, this quote from Psychology Today offers such a powerful counternarrative. It's a statement of confidence, really. It's a defiance against the stigma. It reframes the whole identity from just being second to being final, a declaration of permanence and of strength. Ultimately, that's the core question, isn't it? Whether the outcome is healing a past, starting a new beginning, or building a lasting second union. The journey of a second wife is all about navigating the ghosts of a past marriage while trying to build a future. It's a profound challenge of love, identity, and finding your place in a story that didn't start with you.